This screencast is going to cover the process of A to B, how the German government targeted Jewish citizens and victims during World War II, as well as introduce you to the intentionalist cumulative debate or the functionalist intentionalist debate that exists within genocide studies. So to complete this sheet, what you're going to do, you need to notice that over here you have these items labeled 1 through 15, and then you have a blank item box here. So this is the order, and the way you complete this sheet is you have to look at the items here and place them in the correct order. So if you believe that number 7 is the first thing that happens, Night of Broken Glass, you would put 7 here. If you believe the second thing that happens is this one, number 1, then you would place that here. That's the way this sheet gets completed, and let's take a look at some of the specifics. First item up here we have number 9, Jews or German citizens. So this right here is going to be number 1 because the Jewish people in Germany that were going to be targeted through legislation like the Nuremberg laws, we want to first recognize that they were German citizens. This is crucial to understand the difference between crime against humanity and war crimes, and eventually the definition of genocide. So we want to recognize that the Jews are first German citizens. So before you can target these individuals, because Germany is a state that has laws, the second thing that has to happen is you have to figure out a way to take away that status as a citizen. And the best item in this list here is going to be number 8. The Nuremberg laws are going to remove that status. So we'll put 8 over here, and then number 9, they're German, they're citizens. So you kind of want to go through this list here and try to figure out the order. The Night of Broken Glass is usually identified as the event where the German people target the Jewish victims, and the government is going to sit by and do nothing as far as punishing those individuals that are targeting these human beings. And that is going to help us with the understanding of the intentionalist functionalist debate. So I wanted you to think about this question here. How did you feel completing this sheet? And if you felt that by completing this, you felt a little odd that you were trying to determine the order and having a debate in your head, that was designed to try to get you to understand the intentionalist debate. Within genocide studies, there's a debate, the intentionalist side and the cumulative side, or the functionalist side. So the intentionalist side of the debate argues that with any genocide, the perpetrators had a clear plan of what they were going to do. The cumulative side argues that it's a reaction. Genocide by accident, genocide by a reaction. So let's look at some examples here. When the German government under the Third Reich starts to build its first concentration camp or create a set of laws that are designed to isolate, it seems that there's clear intent because you have a plan that is going to ultimately lead to the end result, whether the end result is separation or the end result is going to be assimilation through force or the murder, the harming of these individuals. The sole purpose of the concentration camp is the extermination camp is to be death. Whereas here in the cumulative side, they would argue that the German government built those facilities and put in place those laws as a reaction. And this happens throughout genocide studies class. So I'll talk here about Rwanda. In Rwanda, there is a debate about whether or not the genocide was intentional. So the cumulative side will argue that the genocide was not planned, and it was really the result of President Habyarimana's plane getting shot down. When President Habyarimana's plane was shot down, the Tutsi population was blamed by the Hutu perpetrators, and that acted as a reaction. So the people died in reaction to this particular event. And this debate, again, exists within a genocide studies class. So this sheet here is designed to get you to think about that particular debate and not to be offensive, but to kind of get you to think about that in a genocide studies class, that is a debate that takes place. And they're concerned about looking at specifics. So when we go back to this sheet here, let's take this one here. If you're picking, if you're taking cargo, notice the use of the word cargo. We're not even recognizing them as human beings. But if you're, you know, picking them once they come off of the train, that right there is putting you in a position. So how does that work? Here's the train, and the train we know has cargo. And so the individual that is looking at the human beings coming off of the train and saying, okay, you individuals over here, and you're going to go to a labor portion of the camp. You individuals are going to be experimented on, and the individuals over here are going to go straight to extermination. That is putting this individual in a position. What is the reaction here? They're a part of a bureaucracy. They're part of a planned process. That train, wherever this train is coming from, if that is part of the state policy, then that clearly seems to be intentional. There's no reaction, there's no accident. There is a system that is put in place. When we look at things like the Nuremberg laws, which were designed to segregate, that clearly shows intent because the law has a designed outcome of separating the targeted group. What about the creation of the Einsatzgruppen? If you don't know the Einsatzgruppen, that was a squad that was following the German military, and they were proceeding throughout Europe and targeting, killing individuals. So let's take the Germany Jewish population. When Germany goes into Poland, 3 million people, Jewish people live there, and these individuals are Polish Jews. So the question here is whether or not Germany even owns the population there, or whether or not they acquired them through war. And that is important for the debate between war crimes and crimes against humanity and genocidal acts. And anyway, let's take a look here at this population, this 3 million here. If Germany is going to kill these individuals, what is the reaction? How would that be cumulative? The German government also has the military, followed by the Einsatzgruppen, that is rounding up these individuals and shooting them on the spot. So if you did a search for Einsatzgruppen, that's probably what you would wind up getting, images of people being shot in mass graves. So the fact that you've created this mobile hit squad shows clear intent on the part of the perpetrators. And we can look at another event here, like the Wannsee Conference, where they have to determine the final solution. And the Wannsee Conference was a meeting, and at that meeting, they made decisions about how they were going to proceed, with the process of targeting, killing, and ultimately exterminating an entire group of people from existence. If you see what this is, I guess this is a museum. I guess you can go visit the place where the final solution was created. But that's the way you fill out that sheet. And again, it's not designed to, I mean, if you're having a meeting and the sole purpose of the meeting is to figure out a way to kill X amount of people, that at that point shows clear intent. The mere fact that you're sitting down and having a discussion about it, which is why when you look at, for example, this section here, the Nuremberg trials, they're saying that all of the defendants, even that guy who was, selecting people as they come off the train, that guy is acting to a common design. If these trains are running daily, you are part of a process, you are part of a design, and you are making decisions, and those decisions ultimately are going to lead to the loss of life that you unlawfully, willfully, and knowingly did conspire and agree together and with each other, with diverse persons. So when you talk about that Wannsee conference, if you're sitting down and having that meeting, you are having a conversation violating this particular point there, and you are committing a war crime and a crime against humanity. And that's it.